I started looking at this concept and I related it to all the other literature reviews you have been doing, but it has a unique characteristic on its own. We do this to have a good grounds to do systematic review. We do this to have a good grounds to do a systematic review. Last week, I stressed that the main point that if for nothing at all, you should remember is that it gives us the research gaps, which we can build on. I also mentioned that the difference between the scoping and the systematic review is that in scoping review, we do things a bit different. So I say, unlike the systematic reviews that focus on answering specific research questions, scoping is rather leading us to forming the research questions. It is that normally you may not go with a research question, but as you obtain the gaps, you come with the research question. I gave the purpose of it. Okay, I gave the purpose of scoping review. And once again, the research gap was important there. It helps. The reason why I stress on the research gap is that we do research to broaden the frontiers of knowledge, to contribute to knowledge. And hence, if we already know the answer, we have made several attempts of falsifying a concept and then the concept has resisted the test of time. And you go back and you do it and you say you have seen it. We already know it. We already know it. So there's no need of seeing it. But if we have the research gap, then we'll keep on adding new to what we know. We keep on adding new. So whenever you read literature, if for nothing at all, your literature review should lead you to identifying a certain research gap, which your current work could contribute to. It's a point I stress. The usefulness of scoping review was for clarification and complex literature. I carefully gave an example as a teaser for us to see. And from this, you were asked to also look for these things if they are possible, which you did. Okay. Now, every research we do help us to do something, which normally we call significance, but mistakenly for majority of us, we may not have had control, but I feel that the significance is important, the way we see how important the thing is. But in research, the significance is the relevance of the finding to the scientific community and the social setting. So every research you do should inform practice, if possible. It should inform how people work. And that's why we in the university, research is a major component. It should inform how you train other persons to become who they seek to. Two, every research we do is expected to inform another research, and that is why we need to identify research gaps. If you do scoping review, you should be able to satisfy this requirement. Number 3, every research we do should inform policy. Should inform policy. How the Minister of Finance, how the government of Ghana will look at certain things should inform those policies. So in your workplace, if it were to be a hospital, either a municipal, a district, a hospital, a health facility, a clinic, a community, or a health training institution, okay, you implement government policies. And they do not just write those policies, it's as a result of research. So scoping review, being a research, a scientific study, should also help us to do those things. And lastly, every research is expected to contribute to decision making. We're doing this, we are stopping to do that. We're recruiting these persons, we are stopping to recruit this. We no more invest in this, we'll rather invest in that. It's based on the research findings. Okay, so I think I ended here. Think through this. How do I choose the most appropriate topic for scoping review? Was my last presentation. I said that the topic should be of interest and relevance. Those who are writing theses, dissertations in your universities at different level, either a degree, master's, or PhD, that one, then you have a different motive. You have a motive of passing exams and to gaining a certain certificate to practice what. So for thesis writing, dissertation, or projects, we write to pass exams. So if the topic you have seen or you have selected is the one that can give you opportunity to pass the exams, it's good. But when you do scoping review, you want to share with a research community. That one, the topic should be of interest and relevance. If not, people will not read it. They say, what at all? We have seen this. Okay. And remember, passion drives research. So every research topic you pick should be interesting, and scoping review cannot be taken aside. So choose a relevant topic that is relevant to your field, practice, and academic interests. For the academic interests, I've commented on them, that you need certificates. So what will pass is what we write on. By writing to publish, to contribute to knowledge only, to inform your work area, and then choose something that is relevant to your field. So there are so many people who even may be in the tertiary level, they will involve themselves in certain research. It's not relevant. Okay, it's not relevant. It may not contribute to their field, but they form part of it. Number 2, what topic should I select? A topic that is broad, because this thing is exploration, so it should be a broad topic. Scoping reviews aim for a breadth, or for a topic with a wide scope, to avoid over narrowing or specific questions. And that is why the difference between the scoping review and the systematic one is that we hardly use questionnaire research questions to guide it, so that we can open it up. Number 3, what you are going to check, you are going to read other research materials to come together to communicate ideas. So Even if you have seen the area, you still need to search to convince yourself that what I'm going to do, the literature is there. It exists. Some works, when you do them, the literature is difficult. If when COVID popped up in 2020, majority of persons did research using paper, newspaper articles, radios, and others as starting point. But today, there are large number of publications in research or publications of research in COVID. So you can once again be going back to news item and this and that. So to do it, you need to look for that first preliminary research. You need to search and see that, oh, people have done works in this area. People have done works in this area before you go ahead to look at it. Now, every research should go through some element of peer review. Peer review. So if you have colleagues in a workplace, colleagues, students, and others, there are instances you are encouraged to share the work with them. This is the topic I want to do scoping review on it. Please, I want your idea on it. Or you do consultation with mentors or some people who are experts there. This is an area I want to study. I want to do this kind of work there. I need your suggestions and critiquing of this. Okay. The last group of persons which may be of importance is that if there are stakeholders, people have made contact with you that you should do something for them, then you discuss with them the topic you have for them to make input. We recently prepared a curriculum, we send it somewhere, and the person who is spearheading it said that after we make giving the presentation to them, as that copy should be given to him, he want to spend the night reading them so that he can also make input. So you share, this is the title I want to study. You share with them so people can contribute to it. People can ask basic questions which maybe did not occur to you. It will inform you shaping it. In this area, don't be afraid of somebody taking your work. Because if it was sent electronically, we will see the first person who sent it. Okay, if you were the one who made the idea, and you will definitely see. So sharing your work with somebody and giving people opportunity to contribute, don't be scared. Maybe what you can protect at times is data, as data can be used to serve so many purposes in research. So these are important in giving you the right topic. My next one is objectives. As much as we say there are no questions we are directly solving, there are questions, there are objectives. Okay, so whenever you select a title, you should check the objectives you are trying to achieve, if they align. If they align. So I normally say that a whole thesis in UCC 120 pages, 250 pages. We write about 15 or 16 words, and it contains all. So a topic is just a summary of the entire work. Okay, so if this is the summary of the entire work, and the objective is not reflecting it, and don't be surprised, there are so many beings who have read people's work and the objective is not reflecting the topic. But if it is thesis, the assessors will recommend a change in objective. If it is an article for publication, the reviewers, if they are interested in the work, will recommend a change in the title to meet the stated objectives. Okay, now this approach is common. The number 6 is common with scoping review, the PICO, population intervention context and outcome. So the title I am using, does it reflect the population? We should see it there. Does it reflect the intervention? We should see it there. Does it reflect the context? We should see it there, where it is happening. Well, who are involved? We should see it. Does it reflect the outcome?
Junior,
we should see
down
it
for
there.
I.
Okay, so you use the PICO framework if it will work for you. So after everything, you should know your population, your intervention, the context, the outcome, which you are interested in them. When these things are sorted out very well, and you write a title, the title should be reflective enough. The title should be reflective enough. The number 7, selecting the right title, is feasibility. Do you have access to relevant literature? I've already mentioned preliminary search, but now feasibility. Do you have access to relevant literature? Do you have sufficient time? If you check the topic you have written, do you have sufficient time? If there's no sufficient time, then you need to relook at it. If you have time, then you go ahead. Good. If you search that what you are using is coming from a certain database, do you have the resources to go into that database? Are you permitted to enter into that database? You should know these things. And that is where the feasibility comes in. For us in the University of Cape Coast, okay, our library, Sam Jonah Library, the persons in charge or the management of the university will subscribe to several databases in terms of academic work and research. So they easily give you the password to go to them and search. So if you say I'm doing scoping review, and this is where it is limited to, do you have the resources to do it? It's something that should inform you in selecting your topic. Lastly, and then you come with your questions. Emerging trends. Emerging trends. Okay. There are things that are selling. It is trending. People are all looking for and going for. So that should also inform the topic. If what you are doing, people have no interest in it, it is not selling, you will do a good work, but it will not attract readers. Is the area selling? Are people doing work on it? And once again, I use COVID as an example. When it came, it's not that people are even lying low on it. Anytime you check, there's a paper on it every day, every week, because it was selling. In my field as a science educationist, what is selling now today, both internationally and locally, is about STEM education. STEM everywhere. We have projects or grants which are with huge money by some people in America that you should write if it is about STEM to assess them. Excelling. So this should inform the topic. I mean, those who are midwife, there were some local women in some community, oh, I've forgotten the name just escaped me, who can also guide and support pregnant women to give birth. They were there. I don't know if they still exist. But you could see it may not be selling too much anymore. So if you say you are looking for, I think the traditional birth attendant, yes, somebody has given me, so let me check it. Yes, traditional birth attendant. If it's no more popular, okay, and then you say you are working there, you're doing scoping review there, it may not be selling. But if an emergency occurred and there were no specialists, and this same person, traditional birth attendant, delivers, save the mother, save the child. Maybe the person even delivered triplets. And the person survived in doing that thing. You could see it will become sensational. Hey, he has done it. Okay, so that is important because whatever we are doing in research then is once again to inform practice, research, policy, and decision making. So I normally tell people that any literature review you do, we should see international component there. You may not write a heading internationally. You should see sub-Saharan component there. That's the sub-regional base that we find ourselves as Ghanaian. And then we should see Ghanaian component there. So emerging trends. In Ghana here, is that what we are looking at? Should be much more than enough to help. I've seen another chart, TBA, but other organization has renamed them as link providers. That's beautiful. Thank you, Seth. Okay, and Sarah was the first person who gave us the traditional birth attendant. So if link providers, you can see the name has changed. So in your title, then the name link provider should be there. If it is an international thing that is moving on. If not, maybe it's no more selling. Okay, so if you are able to do these things and it's reflective, it becomes interesting. I thought my points are exhausted. Social impact. Yeah. We need things that will change lives of people in the community. Consult existing reviews. So check if systematic or scoping reviews already exist on the topic. So that don't come and say, I am the only person here. Maybe they exist. If so, just look for the gaps they couldn't handle and include it in your title. For now, I have mentioned 10 points. The rest can wait. I started from here. Steps to guide you to select the right topic. Interest and relevance. Broad exploration. Preliminary search. Stakeholder input. Clear objectives. And then using the PICO, population intervention context and outcome. Number 7, feasibility and emerging trends. My last 2 points are societal or social impact. And then you consulting existing reviews. Any question? Go and check if you have disconnected me. Any question or contribution as our start for today? Yes, Mary.
Hello, Doc. Please, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome.
Thank you. Please, I would like to know in getting an objective for your research topic, when does theory comes in? I understand, I don't know, I stand to be corrected, but I understand you need to embark your objective or you need to derive it from an existing theory. Please, when does it come in and how do you get a theory to support your objectives? Thank you.
Okay, you have a topic, and then the one contributing or reviewing it for you says that you need a theory to support the topic. Is that the question?
Yes, please, Doc.
Okay, all right. The reason why we want to see theory is that theories shape our thinking. So in the review we do, there are 3 dimensions to it: a theoretical review, empirical review, and then conceptual review. I normally say that if you do a good theoretical review and empirical review, you might have technically covered the conceptual aspect. Okay, so in some field, there's no work you will do that there's no theory supporting it. Maybe in my area, science education, some of them, you may not have exact theory, and the work may be contributed in your field where you are because of the practice. If you are into nutrition, midwifery, those people who study even those who mental health, nursing. So in those areas, I think they will have pathologists there. Those who are into it, these things are governed by theories. And that is why the person who raised that concern is right. There should be a theory. You may not know it, but you can read to look for theories governing it. So this is my initial response. If you have a follow-up, you can ask. Mary, you're satisfied?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for that. So, Doc, I would like to know if the only way out is for you to read till you find the theory, or is there a way out? Please, I need help. Where do you start from in getting a theory to support your objective?
Whenever you write a topic, there are constructs in them. There are constructs in them which you need to identify. For example, the one I have projected here has selecting the right topic for scoping review. So if you check it carefully, my main construct here is right topic. So we use the keys, which I'm referring to as constructs: right topic, scoping review, to search for the theories govern it. Fortunately for us today, it's not difficult looking for the theories. Just use Chat GPT, or just simple the browser called Edge. Chat in it which theory can underpin this topic. It will bring them out, and then you go and read them. Okay. For today's research, looking for these things are not difficult. Looking for literature is not difficult. You only need to read extensively, but looking for literature is not difficult. You can easily use an AI facility just to get it. I hope that satisfies you.
Very well done.
Good. Any other question or contribution? But let me be quick to add to the AI aspect is that whatever it gave you still exists in the system. So whenever you get it, you need to paraphrase them. And there is another AI device that can also paraphrase them. If somebody knows the name, you mention it to me. There's another AI device which can also paraphrase the statement. It gives you about 3 options so that it becomes unique to you. So one will turn it in either by a publisher or by university. It will not say that you have copied somebody's work. It will always paraphrase them for you to make them look good. Yes, Sarah. If Sarahs are many, then I'm referring to Sarah Brown. Yes, Sarah.
Okay. Okay, yes, doctor. Thank you for the opportunity. And please, I want you to help me with research topics, how to identify that this topic is a qualitative topic or a quantitative topic. What components, what keywords should go into a quantitative topic and a qualitative? I want you to just summarize it for help me in that thing.
Okay. I may not, yes, Mary, you have done well. Mary Fatua, God bless you. You have given me the keyboard. You have done well. It means you have tried it before. So, so whenever you use an AI device like the Bing to search for something, okay, you can use the keyboard to paraphrase it. It can give you about 3 options. You pick it, you can still add it, makes it look new. So if you're using it in doing literature review or in searching for literature, it's the best option. Today's literature review is becoming a bit easier. It's becoming a bit easier. Now, I'll come to the question that Sarah asked you. I will come. But this is coming from Patience. Patience says that, please, how many pages is required for master's or PhD scoping review? The number of pages on is university specific. So check the university requirements and then do accordingly. Even in research that we publish, every journal has its own requirement. Some take 8 pages, some even take 4 pages, some take 12 pages, some can take any page. Some you pay by page. So if you can write 100 pages, they don't care. They will only charge you by page. So every university has some requirements. It's university specific. So you check and see the number of pages required by your institution. Now I go back to how do you get a topic? I've answered this question in so many forms. I always advise, encourage that to get a topic, you need to get an area. I gave this traditional birth attendant. Okay, that's the area you want to become an expert in it. So that's the area you want to study. You keep on reading on it. And your topic can be based on the research gap you identify. So first, you need to know an area which you want to become an expert in it. At times, you can also get the area, if not by reading a theory, by reading official government policy. So like relying on the literature. At times, consultation with colleagues can also give you an area which you'll be interested in. Your workplace demand can also give you an area which you'll be interested in. Okay. Trending issues, as I've mentioned, can give you an area you'll be interested in. But to get a topic out of the area, you need to read that area to appreciate what is happening there. You don't need to cover somebody's topic. You only need to read the area to see the aspect you want to do. As the thing being inductive or deductive in nature, that is being quantitative or qualitative or mixed methods. I think for now, my answer will be like this. If I will repent another day, I will do that. But for now, my answer will be, or my response is that a topic cannot be clearly say that this work is quantitative or qualitative, except when it is included. So one of the things that make us see that this work you are presenting to me is scoping review is that in any scoping review work, the word scoping review is added to it. That gives you the hint that this thing I've picked and I'm reading is not a systematic review, it's a scoping review. It is always added to it. If such a thing is not there, except when you read the abstract, that you can be saying that this work is qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods. So for that one, I'll say generally, you cannot look at a topic like this, a title of a research, and say it's going for this option, except when it is incorporated. Because the two use inductive and deductive approaches. If it is quantitative, it's deductive. It is qualitative, it's inductive. It may be difficult to see it, but the write-up that follows it can easily tell you where this person belongs. I don't know if I've also answered your question very well. If you give me a follow-up and there's the need to push me too much to be specific, maybe I will be, but as where we are, let's take it to be that the topic, unless indicated, cannot say it is this type, except when indicated. Any other question or contribution? Okay.
Hello, doctor.
And then I add to it today.
Hello, doctor.
Yes. Yes, Sandra.
Please, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome.
Thank you, doctor. Please, I want to find out about research objectives. Do we please have a specific number of objective to work with? Especially if...
No, wait, Sandra. Your question is incomplete because you have not made us know what the objective is being used for. Are you talking about a thesis? An article
please,
you want to publish? A thesis, okay.
Yes, please, thesis.
All right. That one becomes a bit of personal. And because of the number of pages demanded, it comes like the person's orientation, that's what I want to mean, influence how much objectives you write. But if my orientation, then I'll go for a minimum of 3, a maximum of say 6. On the grounds that there are simple research questions, there are simple hypotheses, and there are complex research questions. When you get a book, we call it YIN, Y-I-N, 2003, yes, it's a typical qualitative research book. They discuss issues relating to this there. There is a complex question. There's a simple research question. Some research questions can be developed into about 5 other objectives. Some research questions only have one objective informing it. Others have many in them. So for the purposes of thesis, if you have a minimum of 3, it's good. If you have a maximum of say 6 or 7, it's better. But per my orientation, I see the more you write research question means that the more you are inexperienced in the area. So you can't craft a complex research question that meets your work. So maybe you are going on, what are the factors? What are this? But meanwhile, somebody could have written that, how do these factors influence this? So definitely one of the objectives will be looking for the factors. You get it? So there's a complex research question. But for thesis, if you have a minimum of 3, better. A maximum of say 7, better. If you have more, it's more. So some people don't write good questions, so they write only a page and the research question has been answered. That is like an interview question. It's not a research question. Because if it is a research question, the results presented should be sufficiently enough. If it is about an article you are publishing, I also disagree with people who have more than research questions in an article. I feel you are wasting data. In most of my papers, if you search for me, I don't have more than 1 research question. The last time I had 3 research questions, it's the objectives we deduce from the overarching objective. That's the main research question, where the reviewer says that in that case, we should break it down to have 3 research questions. If not, I always demand having a complex research question in my publications. But if you have more, means that you have not handled the data very well. This all should inform you. Sandra, if it has not been satisfied, you can follow up. But before you do that, Sarah, you have given me this, that some people said when you use, I'll come back and
please,
please go ahead.
yes. Okay, Doctor, please,
Yes, Sandra, who is speaking?
is that theoretical framework? Yes, it's Sandra, please.
Okay, because your link was not coming very well. Just adjust more in where the room where you are, and then maybe we'll have it. Adjust more. Okay, before as we wait for Sandra, some have Sarah. You have sent this, that Sarah Brown, that someone said when you use the word exploring and experience, that it means automatically qualitative. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It's not all the cases. It's not necessarily the case. But the word exploring and experiences are an objective or purpose embedded title. You read the title and you have seen the purpose with which the study is being conducted. But exploring normally means that the area has not been sufficiently dealt with. And hence, we are beginning to do new things there. We can do exploratory work quantitatively, and that is why we have exploratory factor analysis. So it doesn't mean that whenever you see exploring, you are doing qualitative work. What about if my exploration is to establish factors in something through quantitative means, where exploratory factor analysis exists? So it's not. Experiences is not. It can be more than that. But whenever you see such things, for example, exploring in the title means that the person has embedded the purpose in the title. So that person cannot come and say the purpose of this research is to investigate. No, it's to explore. That person cannot come and say that the purpose of this research work is to examine. No, the purpose is explore. So that's the point I'll add to it. If Sandra is back, if not, and there's no question, I move on small. I'll move on small. Okay. So back on my area, the scoping review. I move on to my next step, steps to enhancing quality scoping review. Okay. Steps to enhancing it. All right. In anything, in scientific research, we always need to do it systematically. We move from a point and end at a point. It's very important. So this same aspect I have reached, I'll be treating it in diverse forms. The same steps, I'll be treating it in diverse forms. But my first point here is that understand the basics. What you are going to do you understand it? Like these presentations we are having, have you sat in one? Have you read about one? Do you know a difference between scoping review and systematic review? Do you know how to structure it? Or is anything goes? The basics should be there. Where do I get data? Have they done enough work here? You need to know these things. So I said that point one, scoping reviews systematically identify and chart relevant literature based on predetermined inclusion criteria related to the specific topic. There is always a predetermined. Every researcher has some elements of biases in whatever the person does. They address key concepts. These were the points I was explaining. Theories, data, evidence gap. Do you know the differences between scoping review and systematic review? These basics should be there. Okay. Now, if you know that, another point, which is important to make the thing quality, is use a published methodology. I give you about 5 minutes to look for what is JBI methodology, or this Prisma, it looks like Prisma methodology. I remember that somebody also gave something which I couldn't follow. Look for it. What are these methodology and contributes in 5 minutes time? We will not go break. We'll be here, but look for it. So look for it. A JBI, I'm admitting it, you work. I admitted the person. A JBI methodology, Prisma has been given us an option. All right, welcome back. I think I have a chart here, so I check. Is the chart that made me say you are welcome? I want to check what is in it. Okay, Sarah Brown. A JBI, formerly known as Joanna Briggs Institute, is an international research organization which develop and deliver evidence-based information. And even if you did not get the name, I am happy with the word you have added, the statement, the evidence-based information. Software education and training designed to improve healthcare practice. So, I don't know if another person has something, you put up the hand, I will call. So, these models are there. These models have been developed by these persons in their field. You can easily adopt it and use it as your standard of working. And this goes back to the one who earlier on asked a question about theory. That is how it is. So you do your scoping review and somebody will ask you, which methodology did you use? Okay, which methodology did you use? And I can comfortably say I use a JBI model. There can be others, which are there that guides people to follow. Any question or contribution? Any question or contribution? So enhancing quality. Clear reporting helps end users understanding the difference between the various reviews you have done. And that is why a methodology is needed. Now, if you have a methodology, you need to follow it. If you have the methodology, you need to follow it. Rigorous high quality scoping review should adhere to up-to-date methodological guidance and reporting criteria. So you need to follow it. It asks that you do this at number 1. You do that. It asks that you conclude with this. You do that. Meaning that people have worked in this area several, and their models are good. And these models are helping. Okay. Yes, bless, you are looking for a difference between scoping review and systematic. It's a question we have answered earlier, but I like your point. You say you just joined. Earlier on, we gave ourselves a small difference that the scoping is an exploration, but systematic is governed by an attempt to answer a certain research question. In some quarters, the systematic becomes a bit broader than the scoping. The scoping review, I said the other time, for nothing at all, you should see it as if you are writing a background. It will lead to research gaps from which some questions can be asked. Lastly, the scoping is also systematic in its own respect. It's scientific. We work on it to publish or to share with the scientific community. I hope you are satisfied. So where I was is that if you know the basics, you adopt a particular methodological approaches, then you stick to it. You stick to it. You stick to what methodology you have adopted. All right, Bress, thank you for acknowledging. Okay, my next guideline, which is also, have I jumped over something? Oh, sorry. The quality aspect, I have 3 things to deal with. Standards, understanding the basics, and looking for a mode of methodology that you want to use. Lastly, whichever methodology you have, you follow it. Jones, you have also sent me something, Jones Kwesi, say the JBI methodology is a type of knowledge synthesis to map evidence on a topic and identify main concepts, theories, sources, and knowledge gaps. Good. I have said that if your description gives me evidence base, I am satisfied and I move on. But I like this response that have come on board. Where I have reached now, I may ask you to go and look for 1 or 2 things. And come back. Maybe after 10 minutes time, we come and then we write, we discuss, and then we end. Is that we go into group and then we look for peer review standards to ensure integrity of scoping review. Standards people use to ensure integrity of scoping review. Is what I want us to look for. And then we'll come back. We'll continue with our discussion. We'll use 10 minutes. I'll group you. Some people, when they go into the group, you'll fall off, but don't worry. You will definitely survive. You will come back again. Okay, so you accept the link. If you fall, we'll add you. We'll make how many groups? 7. So we have 7 groups. You'll be in a different group. Some group, your members are 2. In that case, I have to reduce it to 5. So that you go and look for what measures do people put in place to ensure integrity in this area. So now we have 5 groups and approximately 3 members in each. I say you fall but join. You fall but join. Let's go and count. I'll change it to 10. I'll change it to 10. All right, welcome back. So those in group 1 are Emily, Mary, and Patience. So the one contributing should contribute. What do they do to ensure integrity? Yes. Yeah, we are on it. Yeah. You want to see me a team leader? Okay. All right, yes. Oh, nobody is responding there. I move on to room 2. Yes, Mary.
I came across some few points.
Okay.
I have standardized in terminology in scoping review. That is using the standardized terminology in your scoping review. Then clarity and consistency of reporting and ensuring that the reporting and presentations of your results are clearly addressed. So clarity and consistency in reporting.
And whether you follow the
lastly,
standard. No, two is okay. If not, you say all the points.
okay.
So your
All right,
first 2
thank you,
are,
Johnny.
yeah, repeat the first 2 once again so another person will not share them.
Okay, so selection of appropriate review type. No, I first stated clarity and consistency of reporting and ensuring your presentation. Then standardized
Good.
and
Standardized was your
terminology.
first point. And then
Okay.
clarity is your second
Yes.
point.
Yes,
All right.
please.
Now room 2, I have only Aisha. And then you didn't go, okay. So room 3, Sarah, Sylvester, and then Veronica. Who is giving us something? Okay, there's a chat. For Jones, no. Which volume is it not working? We need to know, is it our end? All right. Now room 3, nobody is contributing. I go to group 4. Bless, Emilia, Jones, Regina, and then Solomon. Who is contributing?
Hello, George. Please, the mapping of the results should be clearly written.
Okay.
And that's for the scoping review. And some of the contributors are, example, are the funders, the researchers, the end stage consumers, and then the yes, the customers. Thank you.
Okay. And then room 5. Jabi room. Josephine. And then Kosi. 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 I'll not pronounce it the way Joyce wants you to pronounce it. The name will not even sound very well for me. All right. Who is speaking in group 5? If not, I move on. Okay, for room 5, I personally was off, so okay, Kosi. I did not know what was happening. All right. But I only ask this simple thing for you to look for, is that we ensure integrity in everything we do. So whenever you say you have conducted research, we do peer review to ensure standards are met. So I was happy when Mary's point was standardization. There are standards. So it can't be in your own small corner and say, this is what I am presenting. So if you want to do any scoping review, please follow standards. Follow standards. She mentioned clarity, which I agree. How do we ensure clarity? We have writing style, academic writing style. So currently in University of Cape Coast, we have academic writing as a course. Writing style. Some languages are not used. It's a scientific way. Some people don't know how to write a paragraph. Yesterday, somebody's thesis I read as a proposal. You can read here from page 1 to page 3 and there's no paragraph. And the ideas keep on changing. So I have said it before. In doing literature review, remember, being a scoping or systematic, remember that paragraph contains one idea. The second paragraph should support the idea developed in the first paragraph. The third paragraph to support the first and the second. It goes in that form until you draw conclusion. But you can't talk about this dimension, you go on with another dimension. In a paragraph, it contains several. Unity and coherence is deviated. In research, peer review is important. The one you have sent outside, the one you have given to assessors, supervisors to read, are also peer review. But when you're doing your own work, you have your colleagues. So people can support you. And when somebody gives you opportunity to support the person, don't steal the work you and do that. No. So what do? You have the first draft, read over, have your second draft, read over, have your third draft. If you are satisfied and you have money, send it to proofreading. English is a second language to Ghanaians. People speak good English. Those who are English language teachers, forgive me, they are still no good English language handlers. So normally you give your work to a Ghanaian English language person, the proofreading will be normal. Give it to an outsider who is a British or American, who speaks a Canadian, who has English as his language, and let them read. you see how the thing will start bleeding. So at times, some of the language we write may not be up there. So you always need somebody to also proofread for you. So peer review, to ensure integrity, one of the aspects they use at clarity. So when I read, do I understand it? Is another person able to read it? Is the language making the meaning change? Is your work having some form of coherence? Or just here, just there, the tail is there, this is there? No. We have it. Does it follow academic writing style? Every journal, every university has certain demands which you need to meet. I so far feel that I have walked you through some dimensions to scoping review. It's now time that we try to see if we can write one. So I'll only cover 2 steps today, but I have 7 steps in writing. So today I cover 2 steps and end. First step, somebody earlier on asked, how do we get a topic? I say, see an area. The scoping review also, you need to have a research area and get your topic out of it. There is always a title. Some people call it a working title. There can be an instances where it will change, but have a working title. Okay. This title should include the key concepts. Your population should be seen. The area where you are doing the work, the concept should be seen. And then the content should be seen. It should have title. The title should. So I gave this online example. Prostate cancer health disparity among Black men in America. A scoping review. Your title should have your population, your concepts, and a content. So here, let me ask you a simple question. And when you go, you study the others. What is the population in this title? Be the first to answer. What is the population in this title?
Hello.
Yes, Solomon.
Please, it's Black men in America.
I had 2. Good. Solo, it's your hand I saw first, so let me still give the chance to you.
Oh, that's what she has said.
She has not said anything. I didn't hear.
That's Black men in America. These are the population.
Okay. Okay. All right. Black men in America. So if that is the case, what becomes the content? When you go study it next week, I'll ask them. What becomes the content? What becomes the concepts? When you go, you look for that. Next week, that's where I'm starting from, so that I give you something to do. Maybe the Black men, I agree with you. Maybe they are in America, I disagree with you. But at least for now, we have seen the population. So you look for what is the concept and what is the content in it for discussion next week. So this is how the title is written. My last point for the day, and then you ask your questions. We need to write an abstract. It's a scientific work. We need to write an abstract. As seen in most abstracts, that is what is supposed to be seen here. An abstract should include a background. There's always a background to the study. The topic you have written, what is the background? It comes in a brief statement, maybe 2 lines, but it communicates it. And next week, I'll project an example. When you have the background, include the objective or objectives. Simply in the general terms, what is the purpose with which this scoping review is being done? You include the eligibility criteria, sources of evidence, charting methods, results, and conclusion that should reflect the objectives guiding you. So on this part 2, objectives is easier, eligibility criteria may be easier, sources of evidence may be easier. What I want you to look for is charting methods in addition to what you are looking for. The results is easier to see, conclusion is easier to see. So anytime you make an attempt of writing a scoping review, remember, you need to have a title, you need to have an abstract. A good abstract is written when you have finished the whole work. We don't write it first, you'll remember, but at least the sequencing, it should be part of it. However, a good abstract, a quality one, is written after the entire research is over. Any question? So that we'll end here. We'll continue, God willing, next week. Remember, we have started trying to write one. If you don't get anything from me next week, get a title. For the abstract, you cannot write because the entire work has not finished. But get a title. Any question? Any question? Okay. Our CEO, Dr. Christian Siedo, couldn't join us today. Maybe engaged somewhere. So, Seth, if you have a comment to pass before we end, if you are still around. Or he's also gone. It's not said. It's not said. Okay. And then I end here. God willing, next week we meet. Remember the assignment I've given you. Remember what I've given, that at least you should have a title. But there are 2 things in a title which we couldn't discuss today: a concept and a content. Look for them. And when you come to abstract, look for what we mean by charting methods. Good night.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.